Trademarks. We got new ones for Toyota today in regards to their all-new electric brand, and we also have nomenclature for their upcoming product stack within that electric brand. Grab your snacks and drinks and let's get into it. Guys, make sure to smash the like button if you're excited for Toyota's upcoming EVs, and definitely subscribe so you don't miss all my coverage, as all this will come to light in the coming days, weeks, months, years, etc. Over at The Drive, Toyota files trademark application for Beyond Zero EV sub-brand logo. Now, they're getting this from, go figure, bzforums.com. So if you guys are really interested in this, definitely head over, become a member of BZ Forums so you're a little bit closer to the source of this. But Toyota filed this trademark application in Europe for the BZ logo. So, okay, let's just stop there. There it is. So this logo, simple. It reminds me a lot of Toyota's hybrid logo. Even Honda uses blue for their hybrid logos as well, even on the surrounding of the badges and whatnot. But here we have the BZ. Obviously you can read BZ from it, but you also see a plug, or at least some sort of representation of a plug going into the upper part of the B. So yeah, I mean, it's clever, and I think it's definitely going to be a recognizable logo for Toyota. So let's keep reading though. Expect to see it throughout the entire BZ lineup that will include BZ1 and BZ1X through BZ5 and BZ5X. That's pretty busy. Get it? And going back to The Drive, they also say that Toyota did the hydrogen drive trademark as well. So the outline of it is a water drop, because the only waste product of hydrogen on a vehicle is water. So that's their cleverness there. Just a black and white logo. Don't know if that's going to stay black and white or not, but obviously you see the H and then you see the D here for hydrogen drive. Now we need to take a stab at what BZ1 through BZ5 could be. The most logical thing to me would be BZ1 being the smallest of these battery electric vehicles from Toyota. It could be something like a crossover. If they're going to do something, it's very similar to what Hyundai's done with their Ioniq brand. Toyota with Beyond Zero, Hyundai with Ioniq. It's essentially their specified electric models. Now, Ioniq does it where the odd numbers are crossovers and the even numbers are sedans. Could Toyota do the exact same thing? It's possible. Don't know if they're going to, though. It would make sense if they had some sort of logical progression that way. So if they did do that, BZ1, I'm not flipping you off, BZ3 and BZ5 would be the crossovers, and then these two would be the sedans. So BZ2 and BZ4, if they wanted to do it that way. Now, what does the X on the end of BZ1X through BZ5X mean? Well, it could be as simple as that it's just all-wheel drive, and it has a front motor and a rear motor based on the ET&J platform, the skateboard fully battery electric platform that's developed with Subaru. Now, what if it's not? What if it's not designating all-wheel drive? I think all-wheel drive is the most logical one, but it could be designating that maybe it's a crossover. Lexus likes to use X, and even Toyota likes to use X signifying crossover. So if, for example, if there's a BZ1 and then there's a BZ1X, maybe BZ1 is more of the sedan, and then BZ1X is roughly the same as the sedan, just crossover-ified. That's a possibility as well, but I don't think they're going to offer 20 models on this. I think really it makes sense that the X at the end is saying all-wheel drive. Two motors propelling the front and rear wheels. Now, looking at the image of vehicles that Toyota teased for their upcoming electric cars. This is back in 2019, but these cars could easily be production ready if they wanted to. I think the designs are pretty much official, I would say, because this vehicle right here is the exact same as the Subaru Evoltus. And no, that vehicle's not been officially announced as a production car coming really soon, but let's be real. If it looks exactly like the Toyota one, more than likely, this is going to be one of the BZ1 through 5. Now, 5 is the largest. Again, that makes sense to me. This would be BZ5. This could be BZ4. This could be BZ3. It could be like the Corolla Sport Touring, which we don't get, a really cool wagon. This one would make sense to be BZ1 or BZ2, being that it's pretty compact. I don't think we're going to see the vans be a part of this upcoming lineup. So I really think these first 4 are going to be, it's possible. I guess it's possible that a van could make it into Europe because they're popular there for business purposes. But Toyota's actually working with Peugeot. I think the rebranding electric Peugeot vans to satisfy that sort of niche right now. So I don't know if they're going to do the vans. But moving back to these vehicles, I think these are the most logical. This being a BZ1 or 2, this being a BZ3, this being a BZ4, and this being a BZ5. Now, all of them could be had with all-wheel drive. I think standard, they're going to be offered with front-wheel drive. So we're going to go head over to the spreadsheet, and this will give you guys an idea. Now, we have a UX300E. That's the first electric Lexus. It's in Europe. It's in Asia. Of course, we'll never get it here in the United States. Now, I would expect this to be something like the BZ1 or BZ2. With about 200 horsepower to just power the front wheels. And they could add a small electric motor in the back, maybe something as small as 107 horsepower. But that gets us, guys, to the RZ450E or maybe even the Subaru Voltis sort of crossover. Now, they could put a larger front motor on this vehicle right here because we know we have them. Maybe 234 horsepower, even 301 horsepower. That's a ton of horsepower to the front wheels. Now, they could, even for Europe, make this less powerful up front. So on a BZ1 or BZ2, they could, put 107 horsepower in the front or 120 horsepower in the front and then put this 107 horsepower in the rear. That is possible, but that would really massively increase the power, like double the power just by going X, which might be the worth of investment. Now, these motors are not necessarily confirmed. We just know Toyota owns Aishin and Denso, and they have a company together, Aishin and Denso do, that's called Blue Nexus. And these are the specified motors listed on the Blue Nexus webpage. So it doesn't mean that these motors for sure are going to be in these BZ vehicles, but it sure makes sense to me. So this vehicle right here being the RZ450E potentially, RZ could have more power than this, but the Subaru Voltis, or what I would call the BZ4, a minimum of 308 horsepower. But it could also be just front wheel drive with around 200 horsepower. I think that's a possibility as well. RAV4 sized, okay? Now going up the ladder here, this could be the RX 500E sort of powertrain. It's already been teased to us through the Direct 4 presentation from Lexus. This could be also a Highlander-sized vehicle with 3 rows, and it could have up to 300 miles of range or so. Again, we have no idea what size of batteries. All we know is this little thing over here that Toyota gave to us back in 2019. So we can talk about it real quick. We know that they can do front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, or all-wheel drive. Now, I think they're going to save the rear-wheel drive sort of thing for the Lexus end. So hold your breath on that one. When we're talking about the Toyotas, I think we're largely going to see more practical front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive models. Now, we know the platform is going to be ET and GA. Batteries for sure going to be lithium-ion with the possibility in the future to be solid-state lithium-ion. From 50 to 100 kilowatt hours. So we have a huge spread of battery sizes there. We have motors right here. Now it says 150 kilowatt output per motor. Now if you look, that means the absolute largest would be 201 kilowatts. But if we looked at Blue Nexus, they have things that are much, much more powerful than that. Maybe we only see that on the Toyota. Maybe we only see those higher power motors on the Lexus end of things in the future. Ranges 186 to 372 miles. Now that depends a lot of things, not only the size of the vehicle, the weight of the vehicle, the size of the battery, testing methods, whether it's WLTP or EPA. So when you're talking about EPA, I think it would be lower than this, maybe low 300s. And guys, I don't know what else to say other than I'm really excited to see this stuff going to be happening soon. And I think it's possible that this could all be unveiled really soon at the Shanghai Motor Show in China, of course. That would be by the end of April. So we're just a couple weeks out from potentially hearing Toyota spill the beans on their electrified plans. So really, really excited to make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that. But there's a couple other things I wanted to share with you guys before I let you go. Toyota releases LS and Mirai equipped with new function advanced driving support technology that allows people and cars to run together like friends. Now this is translated from Japanese, so it doesn't really flow that well, but what they're doing is they're adding pretty much a $6,000 package on top of the LS that allows not for self-driving, but for probably, they call it level 2 advanced driving. So they're using LiDAR, they're using more microchips, they're using more sensors from Denso. They're even working with NVIDIA. NVIDIA, of course, a huge GPU manufacturer, but also for AI, as well as just a compute power end of automated driving. There will be over-the-air updates. And we know this is the future because Tesla's doing it. They're always updating their cars, and if you're not able to update your cars, then yeah, it's just it's collecting dust in terms of the automotive industry. Everything moves ahead so fast at this point, especially with electrification and autonomy. Everything needs to be updated over the air. So that's really good to see. It'll be interesting to see people get their hands on it. It's only for Japan right now, by the way. It should be coming to Japan this fall, and it should be probably actually debuted at the Tokyo Summer Olympics. So this summer we'll see more about it, I'm sure. So, and lastly, earlier this week we were talking about Hyundai potentially killing off the Veloster. It's killed off in Canada, by the way. It has been for a year or so, but Hyundai saying that it's going to stick around with less packages, less options, fewer trim levels, and is staying for 2022. Doesn't mean they're committing to it for long term though. But yeah, the Veloster is definitely sticking around. So if you guys were concerned about the Veloster disappearing, not anytime soon, at least here in America, at least for not the next year. And guys, I'll end it there. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for all your support. And stay tuned because I will have a review up on the Honda Accord Hybrid coming up in probably the next 4 or 5 days. So make sure you're subscribed for that so you don't miss my impressions on what is pretty good so far, a Honda Accord Hybrid of 2021. I'm liking it quite a bit. Guys, have a good day. Take care of yourselves and peace out.